What's up, everyone?
Hey.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
LendLine. We're gonna work on getting like a cool intro and a song maybe in the background. Sudjeev's gonna rap for everyone. LendLine.
I'll beatbox and Nikhil rap.
Let me see that.
Sweet. Yeah, just got some product announcements that we made that we just wanted to talk through, and then obviously always here to answer any questions people may have, or just
give some alpha. We'll give some alpha to some really exciting things down the pipe for us. So we'll go through some new product, give some alpha, and then I figured also good to talk to some of you all about a conference Sudjeev and I went to recently this week. So just to share the sentiment coming out of some of these conferences, which have been really exciting. Share some of that. I know not everyone has the opportunity to go. This was a conference hosted by Pantera in New York. So a lot of traditional finance folks, a lot of crypto natives as well, but a lot of traditional finance folks that were there. But yeah, you want to run through a demo or the new product updates?
Yeah, let's start with that. And then, I agree. It'd be great to pull people into basically what we were hearing and seeing at the conference. So, all right, starting with updates. This is the new config update screen. So maybe I'll zoom out for a second just in case there's people here who haven't used MetaLend yet. This is the main MetaLend dashboard. This left panel is all about earning as a lender. You can see your total earnings. You can now see your rewards split out at the top here as well. You click this, you can see all the different rewards that you've earned and hit the claim button directly here. This is some ARB token. I have some Morpho token on the Arbitrum network. I also have some Morpho on the Ethereum network. And I can see the total I've claimed over time of this specific token on this chain right here. This is, by the way, benchmarked to live price. So this is for my account, all the different rewards I've earned from my moving lending positions. This is awesome. Really, our goal is to put DeFi yield farming on autopilot. And so even if you're somebody who's chasing rewards instead of native yields, this product is built for you. It's built for both people, actually. So if you click in this case, I'm looking at my USDC account. I can see now that I have the ability to toggle on the ability to rebalance by rewards and native APY. So previously, you were only getting rebalanced based on the native APY. This is basically the earnings that you're getting that are coming from borrowers paying interest. As we know, especially in bull markets, people love to do airdrops. They do a lot of rewards, which adds to the APY. And so now, if you want, you can toggle on and have your rebalances happen thanks to, based on a calculation that's rewards plus native. And then up to you if you want to hold those tokens or sell them. But that's the first big update is now, if you are kind of this yield farmer looking for airdrops, you can do this and really focus in on your airdrops. If you're a yield farmer looking just for native yields, you're not as interested in the reward tokens, you can also toggle this to focus on the behavior you want. The next thing, which is really exciting, is we've added our third protocol, which is Euler. So Euler is awesome, about over 4 billion in TVL. They're new to the MetaLend product and the MetaLend family, I guess. So we're super excited to integrate that, give users more options on places that their capital can go. Again, our goal at the end of the day is to aggregate all of DeFi. And now if you go here, you can toggle on and opt into Euler yields, and you can also see Euler yields here. You can see this one pool is giving 8.8% on Avalanche. There's other pools through here as well. So if you go in and toggle, you can see Euler yields now, and it's very likely that at some point your funds will end up in an Euler pool and earn you yield. So those are two of the big updates. The other one actually is that we have launched our second stablecoin, which is RLUSD. Nick, do you want to talk about this one a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Excited to add RLUSD. This is completely in line with our thesis and vision that eventually savings accounts on chain will be agnostic to stablecoins, right? Doesn't mean we're going to be aggregating all of the stablecoins that are launching, but at least the blue chip stablecoins we will be aggregating. And again, in a little bit of alpha is that we view that a user can come in and create a savings account experience to their configuration agnostic of a stablecoin. That means we automatically would be swapping from USDC into RLUSD if there are lending options and yield options for RLUSD that are attractive to that user. Right? These are the benefits of the blockchain. It's combining all of these primitives because of the speed and the permissionless aspect of it. So it's awesome. It's going to be super exciting to see users. It's also a great way for RLUSD and the Ripple community to get exposure to a lot of yield options. So it's in both directions. Excited to add them. We're working closely with that team on a few other exciting opportunities, but more to come. This is just one of many stablecoins that we'll be adding and one of many. Euler, yeah, congrats to that team on crossing 4 billion TVL recently. This will continue to fragment, right? This is why we are a fintech layer that exists. The fragmentation on the stablecoin side, on the protocol side, on the yield side in general between chains and protocols and stablecoins will continue to fragment, and we will be the fintech layer that consolidates. So this is just a step in the right direction for us.
Yeah, and just to answer one question that I'm seeing on the chat here. So when I was talking about the rewards earlier, this is not specific to like a MetaLend airdrop. This is airdrops that these pools are doing. So if you look at the screen here, you can see that yield. And if you click down on your current balances, you'll see that your yield is broken down into native yield. Again, this is what borrowers are paying, and then the reward yield, which is getting paid out in a reward token. In this case, I think it's Morpho token as well as ARB token. And so, yeah, basically each pool has its own reward APY and then its own set of tokens that it's paying those rewards in. For our pools, the ones that we aggregate tends to be a lot of Morpho token and also tokens related to the chain. So Optimism token is one I've seen a lot. ARB token is another one that I've seen a lot. Yeah, so I hope.
So let's just talk a little bit. Take a step back and talk a little bit by why we think it's so important to surface the rewards in its kind of standalone UX. Plus, soon create some mechanisms to convert those rewards back into the stable or deposit. Right? When we're giving APR, forecasting APR for a user, whether it's an institution or a user or even an integration, you shouldn't have to guess what you think that reward token is going to be worth. Sure, there will be plenty of people that are bullish on that token and they may want to hold it, and they'll have that option to do so. But the APR should be calculated based on a stable rate, right? Not based on speculation. This is why we think it's so important to give users the ability to claim those, because although these tokens are, Morpho token, for example, as Sudjeev mentioned, are pretty stable and growing in value, they still can be speculative. We want to be able to give users a stable APR for that, at least that day. So,
yeah, I think that, again, our mission here is really to bring DeFi to the masses. That obviously a lot of the people that are in DeFi today are really keen on airdrops and reward tokens. But if we think about like our moms or our parents in general, they just want to put dollars in and get dollars out as yield. And so this is built, again, like Nick was saying, for institutions who are then in many cases investing on behalf of people with money in their pension funds, et cetera. So this is the auto swapping of rewards and reinvesting, which again, we are working on, is something that will bring DeFi to the masses for sure. I fully agree.
And another way to kind of frame it, or like an analogy that I like to use, are two of them. When Uber launched, I know not a financial product, but they would give a lot of credits for people to use, right, their rides. And they would give those credits, and how they would portray that is a net impact to the cost of the ride. Never was it possible for Uber to only charge you, $20 to get to the airport in a big city. But they made it that way. They made it where it would only cost you $20. They would cover some of it from their balance sheet, and they would show $20. Yes, eventually they got it now, it costs you $50, but same here, right? There's no reason that the Morpho rewards and other chain rewards shouldn't be converted to a net number for you, which is actual value. They're subsidizing here, and it's been done for years and years across tech. It's been done by banks traditionally as well, right? They give percentage off of their balance sheet. So this is exactly what we do for you. What is my net impact at the end of the day?
Yeah, and also another analogy, because this really does exist across the board, is the credit card points industry, which I know is bigger in the US than internationally. I think it is more a feature of credit cards in the US that the more you spend, you get points, and then those points you can transfer to different airlines or to different places, and they all have different multiples. Frankly, I find that super confusing. There's so many sites that are dedicated just to explaining points, credit card point systems to people. Like the Points Guy, for example, is a huge one. And so our goal is a little bit to play that role here, to just make it simpler to understand, easier to understand. Whereas like you think about, okay, well, I'm getting 4x points on my Amex spend. What does that mean in dollar terms? I don't really know. It depends who you transfer it to, what you do, all sorts of things. So the goal here is, again, to attract the user and for the people that want just clean, easy to understand numbers, making it simple and showing the net impact. Also, this is the deposit screen. So on the deposit screen, in case you didn't know, you can hover over this like star icon right here. This shows you the top yield in real time at the moment. And when you deposit, your funds will get routed there unless, well, actually, if you edit your configure, then this number will update. But when you hover over this, you will see native APY and you will see the breakdown of exact reward APYs. And then also one call out. So Morpho has this performance fee thing. This is just a feature of how Morpho works. They have curators who make the vaults. Those people take a fee that is variable depending on the vault. So over here, it's full breakdown of the yield inclusive of the fee. So at the end, what you see, that 10.13%, that's what you're getting. And you can see the full breakdown here in case you didn't know. Sweet. Nick, do you want to maybe recap the conference for people?
Yeah, I would love to share some kind of takeaways from the conference earlier this week. One being that we've gone in the space from the common phrase this week was headwinds to tailwinds was a really common used phrase. Last 6 months, a lot of tailwinds at a macro level on adoption. And I know we've been reading a ton on crypto Twitter. We've been also hearing, headlines around traditional finances entering, institutions are coming. That's what we need in the crypto world to get actually the volume necessary and the liquidity necessary. And this time it actually felt like it wasn't like in the foreground, it was here. The traditional finance is in crypto. They're racing to get exposure to DeFi. We're going to play a role in it, and we're having ongoing conversations on how to accelerate some of those institutions' exposure to DeFi. And for some of you in the audience, I think that's really exciting, right? We're at the center of this, and a lot of you've been using decentralized finance for a long time. Your entire savings accounts, your checkings, your entire banking experience is done on the blockchain. And the rest of the world and even larger players are understanding that there's an advantage to doing so, and they want exposure, which is really good. It's a stamp of approval, and it's also nice that we have some regulatory clarity that enables them to do so. And really what I've always said as an indicator on adoption and liquidity, really, with liquidity comes adoption because you have enough depth and so forth, the yield rates, is hiring. So at one of the events, I was actually sitting at dinner with a gentleman from BlackRock, who is, originally from Consensus and now at BlackRock, but he was talking about how they're really putting urgency on hiring for digital assets and the blockchain team. And that's a really leading indicator to me on the institutions coming in quickly. Now, whether institutions come and what type of role they play is TBD, but the takeaway again is that a lot of liquidity is coming. The systems that have been built, the chains that are there, the L2s, the rewards mechanisms and the incentives and the fintech layers such as MetaLend are ready to absorb and really take on and bridge kind of that traffic to the blockchain. So super, super exciting. Even a few others that I've spoken to that have been to the summit have always been like, yeah, a lot of this felt forward facing, felt like we were selling. A lot of the speakers this time, instead of selling, were educating, because everyone in the audience is like, how do we get exposure now?
Yeah, totally. I think for me, obviously it's a trend we've talked about, I think, on every single LendLine, but one of the the trends that felt really exciting and was talked about a little bit was RWAs, real world assets. Super exciting stuff there. Heard from the CEO of Ondo, who's also in the Pantera family, and talked to some other people. There's a lot of people tackling real world assets, bringing tokenized stocks on chain. That's going to be really, really exciting. That's going to be really exciting for DeFi because yields are going to come from so many more asset categories. Everything from Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook stock, to tokenized metals, to tokenized every single type of asset. Heard from Figure, which just went public, and they're using crypto rails to provide loans on home loans. So it's not really tokenized housing markets, but it's basically using like DeFi infrastructure and crypto infrastructure to speed up the process of getting a loan on your home.
To speed up and significantly reduce the cost in the middle. They've reduced like 20-30%. They've reduced in terms of cost for someone to get a home loan. So,
yeah, and then obviously you have it also going a little bit the other way, where it's DATs, so DATs, treasury companies. We heard from Tom Lee, who has Bitmine, which is obviously huge. They are stacking tons of ETH. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. I've just heard rumors. I literally have no inside info on this, that they would be, I think, using Linea for some stuff, which is really exciting. It's exciting for Linea. Obviously, we love the Linea team as well. So a lot of the Ethereum DATs are awesome for the community. There's Solana DATs now. There's obviously been BTC DAT for a while. So crypto assets moving into TradFi instruments, TradFi money moving into like crypto DeFi assets. It's really exciting. The worlds are colliding and merging together, and it's really exciting for sure.
Yeah. And another theme just that we've, Sudjeev and I have been talking about for a while now, and it was common at this summit as well, is everyone likes to pick, is it TradFi or is it, DeFi, or is it TradFi, is it the blockchain? There's no such thing. It's going to be a blend. And really, the common theme is it's all of the technology, blockchain technology, will be behind the scenes on finance, right? So even a bank could be using it. There wouldn't even necessarily be a differentiator. It's all one thing, and a lot of the rails will be the blockchain behind the scenes. Now, global economies are massive, massive moving targets. Like, they're huge ships trying to steer, right? They're not little boats. And getting them to use those rails takes time. And that's what, a lot of people have been working on, including us. But the demand is there for it. And we're actually, hopefully soon we'll be able to share with you all, working on something very similar on a little bit of a smaller scale, but massive, where we are in the background. You don't even notice our technology and our smart contracts and what chain we're deployed on. All of those kind of are abstracted away. The front end users are seeing yield, they're getting safe yield, they're getting predicted yield, and they're getting it quickly, fast. And we are behind the scenes. And that is, okay, we're not in the space. I mean, we love you all. We love the MetaLend, brand, and we will continue to push it forward. Maybe a TGE at some point. There's going to be a lot on that path, but we also just want to get adoption. And in some cases, we will be the rails and the infrastructure behind the scenes. Yeah. And that's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think one of my favorite quotes from the whole conference was the question to the panel. I think this was the stablecoin panel. Was around, hey, right now there's 2 or 3 crypto companies in the S&P 500. In 5 years, how many will there be in the S&P 500? And my favorite answer to that was actually, well, you're not even going to know what to think of it as a crypto company because it's going to be so obvious. It's like asking how many S&P 500 companies right now are internet companies. Well, it's like, well, every single company is using the internet in some way, shape, or form. And if they're not, they're literally not in the S&P 500. And that is, I think, definitely the answer. Every single bank that's in the S&P 500 today, to stay there within 5 years, needs to be using stablecoin rails. And on top of that, I do think there's some really interesting things that we're going to see as it relates to stablecoins. One thing that I think is super interesting, let me just quickly screen share. This is a little bit out of left field, but I don't think a lot of people realize how big Starbucks is, and when it comes to their loyalty program. So Starbucks, there's this funny graphic that I've seen that compares Starbucks to a bank. This is because Starbucks' loyalty program is so huge. So basically, people buy Starbucks credits up to over $2 billion are held by Starbucks in the form of these credits. And guess what? They're investing that in treasuries and making 4%. This is basically the stablecoin playbook, but done in a time before stablecoins were really easy to do. And so now that stablecoins are becoming easier and easier to launch, I actually do think we're going to see a lot more consumer brands like Starbucks start to launch some sort of loyalty program where you can either buy gift cards or credits to use their product on their platform, and they're going to be using their own stablecoin. And in the nature of just being a stablecoin, they will be earning the 4% treasury yields, which is wild, right? Because Starbucks actually makes so much revenue on just the credits that are in their system that have yet to be redeemed. And in the future, because stablecoins are so easy, basically every consumer brand will be able to copy this business model and add a new revenue stream to their business by just taking their existing business, adding their own stablecoin to it, and then making it usable within their product. And as a result, they're going to directly earn the 4% treasury yields. So yeah, very, very bullish on everyone launching stablecoins, and in the S&P 500 in the next 5 years being full of companies that are using crypto in some way without users even realizing it.
Yeah, exciting times.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right. I think we're at the kind of 20-minute mark. We'll try to do this consistently, share updates, demos, but thank you all for joining.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Cheers.